Hey Kathleen, how's it going? All right, Kathleen, we're going to wait just a few more minutes, and we're going to wait to see if anyone else joins, and then we'll get started, okay? And Kathleen, you're muted, by the way. Let me get you in here. 1 second. Now you should be unmuted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. I just have my AirPods in because I think it's better sound than going through the computer.
No, not a problem. Happy to get started in a few minutes, and I will let you know when to go. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, everyone, we are at the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and start to kick this off. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us. My name is Brian Money, and I work in the Business Development Department at the NAIFA Home Office. Thank you for joining us for today's August Advisor Ambassador Program. We have a great speaker for you guys today, Kathleen Owings. Kathleen is the State President of NAIFA Colorado and is involved in our National Young Advisors Team Committee. Today, Kathleen will be presenting Build Your Professional Network of Mentors and Industry Colleagues. If you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to type them into the chat feature on Zoom, or if you'd like, you can ask them at the end. I'll let our featured speaker begin and we'll take over things. Kathleen, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Brian. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the PowerPoint presentation here. I don't know if you've shared my screen, Brian, or you need to give me control.
I will give you control.
Okay.
And you should be able to share your screen whenever you're ready. It's going to be the green button right underneath you.
Yep. I got it. Can you guys see that? Can you see it, Brian?
Yep, looks like you're good to go.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Brian. As Brian said, my name is Kathleen Owings. I am the state president for the state of Colorado and been with NAIFA for a number of years now. And I'll go ahead and get started and kind of dive in a little bit here. And please feel free to chime in, ask any questions. Brian can let me know if there's any questions as we go. I'd like to be, maybe engaged with you guys if that's okay. I see you've got Devin, Joe, and RJ on the line. So let's see if we can have some conversation as we go through this presentation here. So I've been a NAIFA member since 2011. And to give you a little background on myself, I am an independent advisor. I've been in the business since 2007. I actually started right before the Great Recession. So it was a really interesting time to start in the business, get all of my security licenses, and then ride the Great Recession out, and it's been very interesting thus far, and been a great ride. I am with an independent broker-dealer here in Colorado. My broker-dealer is actually out of Tampa. I'm one of the owners of our practice. There's two primary owners, and we have a full-time assistant. And then also I'm doing my NAIFA volunteer time as well, which has been great for my business. As Brian mentioned, I was named one of NAIFA's 440 a couple of years ago. And you can see some photos there. My husband and I, my background before my time in the industry, my husband and I both served in the Army. We met as cadets actually at the United States Military Academy. Also both served in Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003. We were in Kuwait and Iraq. And then in the middle there you see family photo. I have she's now 13. I think she was 11 in that picture. But I have a 13-year-old going into 8th grade, so she's about to start tomorrow. So we're, mom and dad are excited for that. So one of the lessons I learned very early in my time at West Point and also in the military, and it was a motto that we have, and we actually still say it in our house, it's cooperate and graduate. As Brian said, I was going to talk about mentorships and professional relationships. But I learned at a very early age that if you want to be successful in anything that you want to do, you need to reach out to others to help you reach your goals. And just to circle back on something, that Forward to 40 award, I will tell you, I tried for 3 years to get that before I was actually picked as a recipient. And that award did not just go because of what I've done. That certainly helped. But it was also reaching out to mentors and peers and those in my NAIFA family to help me to reach that level. And it was communicating my goals and what I wanted to achieve. That was something I did want to achieve if they, felt that I was worthy of the award. But it was reaching out to people, to mentors that I had in the industry to ask them, how do I go about doing this? How do I share my vision? And again, that was something I learned at a very young age, is bringing people onto your team, sharing your goals and your visions to what you want to accomplish, whether it be professionally or personally. I've always been a big proponent of that. And, the biggest thing you can ask someone is, hey, I need your help. When someone hears that, I have to admit, I'm sure everyone wants to help their friends, their family, and peers if they have that question posed to them. They really want to be a resource for people they care about. And so I think that's a great lesson that I've learned, and I still carry that forward, bringing people onto my team to share my vision. So how do you go about finding mentors or colleagues in your industry? I'm not sure where the three of you are in your career, but certainly when I started 12 years ago, one of the things that I would do is when I would go to, at the time I actually was with an agency, I was with New England Financial, and I would look to those producers who were doing better than me. Now, when I first started in the industry, just about anyone who's been there 5 to 10 years is doing better than me. But I would look to those maybe at that 5 or 10 year mark or beyond, and you know, have coffee with them, have lunch with them, pick their brains as to how they designed the practice that they have, how they developed their skills as a producer, as an advisor, and what their resources were and what they are. So seek out those thought leaders that inspire you. When I go to meetings, if someone, you know, seems to have a similar personality or similar aspirations, I want to meet with them and talk to them and, you know, see what they're looking to do, because maybe there is some synergy there as well. Just because they're more successful than you are, guess what? They've been in the business longer. Maybe you have a skill set that they don't have, that they might need some help from you, such as social media. I am now 41. My business partner is in his later 50s. Social media is not his expertise, and frankly, I'm not the best at it, but certainly better than him. So we find our strengths in our practice and see who fits best, and then leverage this. So another thing I have done and still continue to do is connecting with successful advisors at NAIFA conferences. When you go to these conferences, and we have our P+P conference coming up here in September, you're going to hear from some very dynamic speakers, also MDRT level producers, top of the table, quarter of the table producers who are making a huge impact in their communities and their clients' lives as well as their own. And you want to hear from them and learn what they've done to develop their skills and sharpen their tools, so to speak. So I've connected with some wonderful producers, still talk to them from across the country, and I'll reach out to them if I have some ideas or want to bounce things off of them. But I think going to those conferences, or frankly, any other professional industry meeting, can be a great value to find those people. One of the things I also try and do, and what I'm doing right now, quite frankly, is mentoring new advisors or younger advisors in the industry. There is a talk about, you know, the ages and the age demographic of advisors. It's probably closer to my business partner's age than my own. So I think it's important, as all of us do stay in the industry, become more successful, is reaching down to those younger advisors to be sure that they're successful. For a multitude of reasons, I think it's great to get back to the industry. Also, frankly, if the numbers continue where they're going, there won't be enough people to service all of our clients. So it's really a win-win by, you know, reaching your hand out and helping those that are coming behind you. And frankly, I mentioned this earlier, maybe they can offer something that you don't have in your toolkit, such as the social media expertise, technology, et cetera. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I find when I teach someone, I sometimes end up learning more from them than I felt I could offer, if that makes sense. So I think that's great to help new folks that are coming into the industry and reaching out to them. And then the last bullet point here, collaborating with other advisors to elevate your practice. I'll talk about this in a little bit, but I think it's important to, it's my opinion, trying not to be all things to all people. We really try to focus our practice and, you know, be subject matter experts in our areas, and reaching out to those other advisors. You know, say, for example, more complicated life insurance cases, we have those advisors that we reach out to help support us in that area that we may not be doing day to day. So I think it's really important to collaborate and build your team in order to deliver the best results for your clients. So this is just some photos of some of my mentors. The first one on the left there, her name's Pam Gilmore. I actually met Pam through another industry association called Women in Financial Services. The irony about Pam and myself, we have a great relationship. I have been working with her as my mentor. Never actually met her face to face. Pam lives out in Baltimore, and we've done phone calls. We sent Christmas cards to each other, but never had a face-to-face meeting thus far. I'm sure at some point I will. But that was interesting because really at our first phone call, I knew that she would be a great mentor for me. She's been in the industry a long time, also doing fee-based financial planning, and someone that I really connected with. She also happens to be a runner. I run a lot in my free time. And so we had a lot of great connections, but never really met her face to face, which I thought was really interesting. Another group of great mentors and colleagues that I have, it's kind of a large group, but it's called, it's from my broker dealer. It's called the Women of Cole. It's female financial advisors. Every year we get together in a different city. Actually, this year I hosted it in Colorado Springs. And they've been a great resource because so many different practices and different structures of practices from this group. But I know if I have questions on taxes, for example, there's a number of CPA/financial advisors that I can reach out to. So they've been a great resource for me as well. We have a Facebook group. If there's any questions, we all post onto the Facebook group. And that's been a tremendous asset. And then lastly, we see a bunch of us from NAIFA Colorado here at Day in the Hill last year. Also my fellow NAIFA members that I know I can reach out to. There have been a number of those that have been great supporters. And I mean, frankly, if I have questions on cases or the design of our practice, I know I can reach out to any of those people to help me out. So how do you go about building your professional network? I know especially when you first start in the industry, or maybe you're younger in the industry, you're not sure, what you want to focus on or how you go about building that. So I just want to share with you some of the ideas that we've done, that I've done that have helped me. The first one is getting involved in community causes that you love. Very early in my career, probably about the second year, I knew I wanted to be active in the community, but not just, showing up at golf tournaments and the like. I really wanted to be seen as a leader in the community. So I actually responded to an advertisement for a position on our library district. Honestly, never really thought I would get it. I was interviewed, and actually I just finished up my 10th year term last year. It was an appointed position, duly appointed by the City Council and County Commissioners of Colorado Springs, and I served on that board for 10 years. I actually served as the president for 4 of those 10. And just the exposure I got, the people I came across, the involvement I had, and really feeling like I was shaping the community was a tremendous give back for me. I also happen to love libraries. I'm a very big reader. So it was a win-win that I was supporting the community, elevating my presence in the community, but also building great relationships. There was 6 other trustees that I developed professional relationships with. So that was fun for me, and also a great way to help out the community. Another organization, you see that the logo there is Peak Military Care Network. As I mentioned, my husband and I were both in the military. This is a local organization, actually a good friend of mine that I met when we were cadets 20 years ago. She is the chief operating officer, and what they do is they're a resource for veterans and active duty service members and their families in the Colorado Springs community, so that there's a single point of contact for these individuals. There's a lot of organizations out there that support the military here, being near Fort Carson and many other installations. So that was my other way of giving back to the service members, to say thank you, and also to making additional connections with just a different sector of the community. So I would say, if you're not involved in causes, really think about what you enjoy. Most people think about the Rotaries, the BNIs, the networking groups, but maybe you can go out. I personally have not been part of either of those, quite frankly. I've just taken some different paths based on my background and causes that I love. So, give some thought to that. And then lastly, we've created alliances with other professionals. I mentioned this earlier, that we are not the end all and be all for our clients. And I mentioned some things here. We don't do health insurance at all or property and casualty. What we have done is we have a relationship with a health insurance representative. He's independent and he's got a full team. He's got about 12 folks that works for him, and all they do is health insurance. So what this organization does for us is they're a great resource. We do things such as the 401k plans for them, group benefits such as group long-term disability, short-term disability, but we do not do the health insurance. That's their role. And so they'll bring us referrals, and in exchange, we also bring them referrals for the health insurance, because again, we do not do that. Attorneys and CPAs, we do have a number of attorneys and CPAs that we reach out to. We'll occasionally have some of those folks also send referrals our way, but really what we want to do is make sure that we become to use kind of a sports analogy, we become the team manager for our clients, so that we're bringing the other experts into the team, such as the attorney and CPA, and kind of manage those relationships for them. And so that we're being a resource for our clients, not just saying, well, our area is your assets or your life insurance. We want to make sure we're looking at the whole entire picture. So that's been really beneficial. I think it also helps solidify the relationship that you have with clients. If you're just staying in your lane, I don't know if you guys have securities license, but if you're just staying in your lane, it's possible the CPA that they're using has a securities license and may want to look at their business. So I also like to bring in the players that help reinforce the relationship I have with the client. Certainly if they have those in place already, we work with them, but many times they do not, and they're asking us for those referrals. So we want to be sure we have people for them to utilize. So I want to just take a moment. I haven't seen any questions, Brian, but any questions so far, Devin, Joe, or RJ, or anything you want to throw out there?
I have not seen anything come through, Kathleen, but guys, if you have any questions, you can toss them into the chat. All you need to do is hover over the lower portion of your screen, open up the chat, and just type them on in there. So if you have any questions, they can either be during, and we'll try to address them when we get a second, or towards the end.
Okay. Even if they aren't questions, if you have any statements or just want to share something, that's great too. It's kind of funny when you do these presentations. I'm literally sitting here in my office staring at a little camera on my computer. So anything you guys want to say would be much appreciated. So I want to take a moment here to talk about NAIFA and what it's done for me. This is my 8th year as a NAIFA member. As I said, started the business 12 years ago. And so I was still pretty young. When you're starting out, the first couple of years can be a little rocky and you're putting a lot of hours. Once you kind of hit that 4 or 5 year mark, that's usually an indication you're probably going to stick around for some time. So it was important for me to find an industry association. I'm actually a member of 3. I'm a member of NAIFA, WIFS, Women in Financial Services, and then FSI, Financial Services Institute. I would say I am most definitely most involved with NAIFA. Obviously currently serving as the state president for Colorado, but also working with Brian and his team and the Young Advisors team as well. What has it done for me? I get to ask this question a lot, actually. People will ask me, like, Kathleen, why do you do what you do? Because I do put a lot of time into it, and I love it. One of the things certainly is professional development. It certainly helped my practice, as I talked about. It's given me resources to reach out to other professionals in the industry. There's so many people that have, been in this industry for many, many years, and I know I can learn from them. So it's given me that connection with those individuals. I've developed great friendships and connections with other advisors. And you see a picture there with myself and some of my team from NAIFA Colorado. We actually went out to DC. This is from a couple years ago, and met with Senator Cory Gardner, there in the middle. That's something else I have a passion for. I would say that's one of my other passions, is being politically involved. I actually worked in DC when I was a kid in high school, and kind of got a little bit by the political bug then. So I love the outlet that NAIFA gives me to meet with senators, meet with our congressmen. I know really all my representatives here in Colorado. I meet with the Securities Commissioner of Colorado on an advisory board when he holds those meetings during session when that's going on. So that's been fun to get involved in that area of the industry, and that goes more into the advocacy, what we do for not only for the industry, but also advocating for our clients. So that's fun. I mean, there's so many areas, and that may not appeal to you. Some people say, oh my gosh, I can't stand politicians. I don't want to be involved. That's okay. You don't have to be. But that's something I do like, because frankly, what I tell people why I do that is, politically speaking, the bills and the laws that they are looking to enact or trying to pass affect ourselves, our daily lives, and our clients. So I want to be at the table, not on the menu, so to speak. So that's why I do as much as I do, because I also love giving back. I think service it's just ingrained in me. If you can't tell, through my military service and then what I do, and then also my profession is serving my clients. So I think that's one of the reasons that I enjoy NAIFA and why I'm proud to be a member. So kind of my last ask, and we'll get to questions here because I still have about 9 minutes, is ask yourself 3 questions. Do I have someone I can reach out to for professional development advice? Is there another professional that I can partner with, or in my practice field that I need to partner with? And then the last one, if you're maybe a little bit into the industry, or even as you go along in the industry, develop yourself and your business and your professional services, is there a young advisor that I can help out? I always try and remember that as I'm going along, because my partner, I've been with my business partner now for 10 years. He had asked me to join his practice, and then it became a business partnership. So I wasn't even brought in as a partner. I just started as a junior advisor, but I'm now a partner of the practice. And we're looking to do the same. We're looking to find that new junior advisor, because frankly, time goes on and I won't always be the young gun. That's what my team calls me, but I'm 41. We need to start bringing in the 20s and the 30s and continuing not only that succession plan, but helping to build our practice and continue the industry growth through new client acquisition, or talent acquisition, excuse me. So those are some questions I like to have you think about and ponder, maybe now and also going forward. So that is all. I wanted to leave some time. There's about 8 minutes left. I want to be respectful of your time. See if there's any questions. Do we have any questions or thoughts, Brian?
We do. So RJ is actually joining us. He's affiliated with Morgan Stanley. And I will just say from the NAIFA perspective, there is no limit to the companies, broker-dealers, wirehouses, or BGAs that we work with. NAIFA has a very wide reach, and you can get, as Kathleen had mentioned, you can kind of pick and choose from the NAIFA buffet that we have. So it's quite a great opportunity that we have here. Just given the fact that we are so large with over 24,000 affiliated members. So RJ just wanted to share that and who he's affiliated with. And, Kathleen, I'm not sure what your thoughts would be for someone from Morgan Stanley, from a company like that, but it's certainly a lot of NAIFA members could be a source of business, if they wanted to expand their practice. Great, like you were mentioning, you do have a CPA and some other folks you're affiliated with. So that's potentially an opportunity if you want to think outside the box that way. And Joe also wanted to know, and you can touch on that, and I have one other question.
Okay. Yeah, it's really interesting. One of the reasons I enjoy being part of the community, the NAIFA community, is the diversity in the types of advisors there are. So as I said, I'm with an independent broker-dealer. And I actually came from, my business partner and I came from an insurance-based broker-dealer. That's probably more common that you see within the NAIFA community is the insurance-based, or maybe more of the property and casualty. But what I think the value you could gain is the expertise of those that are doing more life insurance-based products, understanding the comprehensive financial planning, and potentially having that partnership. There's many of those life insurance agents who don't have the Series 7 licenses or the Series 66 that need that support, that need that expertise. I think could be a really great synergy. So that's the cool part about the community, is you see so many different types of practices and the opportunity for collaboration, I think, is really great. And also learning from them, because maybe if you're not as versed in, frankly, I don't touch property and casualty at all. I just refer that out. But I still like to have some idea of what's best for my clients. I mean, one thing I try and tell folks is if you have, homes, or as you're building your assets, or if you have rentals, you got to have an umbrella policy. Now, I do not sell umbrella policies. I have one myself because I have a rental property, but it's just, I think that additional advice that I give them that they're thankful for, that frankly, by telling them that, I really gain nothing because I'm referring my business out, but it's being that trusted advisor to your client. And I've learned that from, my property and casualty friends. So hopefully that answers your question. I think that the collaboration, information sharing, and potential opportunities is great.
Awesome. Second question is from Joe, and he's wondering if you are based in a smaller town in Colorado or if you're near a metro area.
So I am in a metro area. Colorado Springs is the second largest city. I think it's the second largest. We've got 600,000 people in Colorado Springs. Denver's at about 2 million. So it's a pretty good sized city. It's growing. Actually, the last couple of years, it's been on like the top 10 list of places to live. So thankfully, I own 2 houses here, and that's been growing as well. So that's great because there's a lot of opportunity for growth. But I think even if, are you in, and we'll see if we can have a little conversation, are you in a smaller area, Joe? I think it was Joe asked the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see what. Yes, he is in a smaller town.
Okay. I think even in smaller towns, you can still serve a lot of clients. So I just happen to be in a larger city, but I also grew up outside of New York City. So I wanted to be in something a little bit bigger than a small town. I was used to big city life.
And Kathleen, can you touch on some of the members? Because you had a picture earlier when you guys were doing the Hill visit. So you're based out of a metro area, but there's another familiar face on there who happens to be I believe the mayor of a small town. Perhaps is that Kevin Ross?
Oh, are you talking about Kevin?
Yeah. So I mean,
So I just backed up to the picture. So in the photo, we have Kevin Ross. So Kevin is a property and casualty producer. He's also the mayor of a very small town in Colorado. He's the mayor of Eaton. Also was named one of our Young Advisors of the Year a couple of years ago, and very active NAIFA member. Randy Kilgore. So as you're looking at the screen on your right, you see Randy there on the far right. He's a past national president. He's there in Colorado Springs. And actually what's really interesting is Colorado Springs has 2 past national presidents. So for being not quite a big city like Denver or New York, it's interesting that we've got 2 of them here in our city. And then you've got, let's see, Brian, Darren, and Jennifer, all 3 of those to the left of Randy are also property and casualty producers. So it's just been great. Again, like I said, building those relationships. Jennifer and I would do Days in the Hill or national conference and, share a room together every year and catch up because she lives up in Fort Collins. So it's been really fun because these folks are not only my professional relationships, but have also become friends. So that's been a great part of it.
Awesome. Yeah, we do have out in Colorado. We do have quite a bit of folks, but it's very representative that you see a great deal of Main Street, but also a great deal of folks from some major cities, and it's really NAIFA membership, and everything that we do for the industry, it impacts everyone. So I mean, the representation that we have is vital in any small town or any metro area, I would say. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Any other questions, Kathleen? Any other comments before we wrap up here?
No, I mean, I just want to thank everyone for their time. I appreciate it. I know you all are busy, and if you ever have further questions, I'm happy to. Brian probably has my information, but you can certainly reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. I'm on all the social media, but I'm happy to help you out offline if you like as well.
Awesome. Well, it doesn't look like there's any other questions, so we'll go ahead and wrap up here. Again, thanks everyone for their time today. We do appreciate it. That concludes our presentation. If you do have any other questions or you would like to continue a conversation offline, please feel free to connect with Kathleen or email recruitment@naifa.org. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their week.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Kathleen. Bye.
Bye.